Hello beautiful people, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and in today's video I am going to be doing my 2022 bullet journal flip throughs. So I'm very excited to be doing this. So I'm going to get this bad boy out of the way and we are going to start right here. I am super excited because I don't think I've actually looked back through my journals this year. So as you can see, there's a bit of real estate here that I didn't use in 2022. That was for 2021. But here is my 2022 setup cover page. I really like how colorful and bright it is. Although going back, I would have probably put more detail in it. This is my sort of year in review page and my looking ahead page. I've got all kinds of fun stuff. I had my first semester in college last year, which was of course super duper exciting. Well, 2021 last year, I guess, but still very exciting. National champion in poetry, of course. I lost my cat, which was very sad. Talking about my first day of band camp and hearing the band play our fight songs and everything. It was super surreal and made me just so happy. Of course, here's my little I moved from Texas to Missouri. And I've got my looking ahead page. So these were goals that I wanted to have. Woohoo. I achieved none of them, actually. Well, no, I kept my fish alive. That's true. But I still have a 3.9, so technically, I still have straight A's, so I'm not too mad about that. And I was asked to play a song with the wind ensemble, so I guess I kind of made that one. Who knows? These were things that I was going to do, so I moved in with my friends. This is just fun stuff that I had going on this year. So I went on a cruise, I marched in the Macy's parade, I went to Tampa for our bowl game. I had the My Chemical Romance concert, which is of course my dream concert because that's my favorite band of all time. This is me talking about starting my double major because if you're unaware, I am both a flute performance major and a political science major. And then I wanted to, over the summer, write a Dungeons & Dragons campaign for me and my friends to play in our house. But as you can see, I did not do that because I gave up. And also the person we were originally supposed to live with bailed on us. So we didn't have enough people to really play anyway because the guy that we ended up having move in with us isn't really a fan of that kind of thing. But anyway, here is my mood tracker for the year. I think it's super cool to just have it to look back on and see all of my moods in one place. And obviously I haven't filled out the last couple of days of December yet. I still gotta go back and do that. Here are my yearly stats. So these are super fun. I did fit all of the books on here. I had to write very tiny, as you can see, but I ended up reading 36, which is much more than I thought I would read. These are just songs that I really enjoyed throughout the year and just found myself going back to over and over again. So Verbatim by Mother Mother, From the Gallows by I Don't Know How But They Found Me, Make Room by My Chemical Romance, Foundations of Decay by My Chemical Romance, Juliet and Y13 by Cavetown, and Vampire by The Orion Experience. And then I wrote down my Spotify Wrapped because I think it would be super cool to look back on. I didn't end up doing that in my 2023 yearly setup, but that's okay. And then, of course, all my TV shows and movies that I watched. I'm not a big movie fan, so I did not watch a lot of movies this year, which is honestly fine by me. And then here's just important events and dates, and then a fun little quote. This is from The Adventure Zone, which is one of my favorite podcasts. And then here we get to... Aw, my candle went out. That's so sad. That's depressing. Anyway, fun little candle incident aside, this is probably my favorite cover page that I did in 2022. If not, it's definitely my top 10 all-time favorite cover pages too, because it just came out so good and amazing and I really love it. And I'm just still very proud of it. So this is definitely my top 10 favorite cover pages, probably even top 5. It makes me so happy. And then this is a fun little audio exchange from, again, The Adventure Zone, which was the quote that I did in the last one, except I wanted to do it for my theme of The Adventure Zone, which is what this theme is. They play Dungeons & Dragons, and they have different arcs, and this was their second arc, but I do include from both their first and their second arc. because I had listened to both at the time, or I was in the middle of listening to the arc that this came from. This is the cover art for that arc, and I was in the middle of listening to it, but this is a fun little audio exchange from that second arc, and it makes me very happy. Moving on to my calendar page, I hated myself after making this page. I just went with the same font, and then I did like a forest in the background, because the whole thing for this arc is that it's sort of like a cryptid hunting experience, and so I drew a forest and I wrote 2022 down at the bottom, and I hate making calendars like this. It's terrible and I don't enjoy it, and I don't even make calendars anymore. If you saw my last bullet journal video, you'll know that. So never again. This is my mood and habit tracker. Oh no, okay, so this theme, I stand corrected, this theme was just that arc. But my mood tracker, I decided to do the logo for the cryptid people that were there. The Pine Guard is what they're called. I did the logo, and then the stripes are just each of my moods. And then the habit tracker, we don't have to talk about the fact that I put the wrong number of boxes. We can just ignore that because the Mothman art looks so good. Mothman actually has a human form in this arc, so I drew that, and I'm very happy with it. And then my finance page, which as you can see, I did not use because I have a bad habit of not using my finance pages, but it looks really cool. I did like a little postcard up at the top. This is Welcome to Kepler, West Virginia, which is where it takes place. And then Goatman, or not Goatman, but like a goat character who becomes a man takes a big role in this podcast. So for my stats page, I just did like his horns divided up into the segments and then some mountains in the background. I think it's pretty cute. And then here we just have journals that y'all don't need to see. So this theme, I actually didn't know what I wanted to do, but I wanted to have a color palette for this one because that's what I kind of default to if I don't know what I'm gonna do for something. So I kind of just did tarot cards and like witchy things, like a witchy aesthetic, and then I had the black and gold. And I actually really like how the cover page came out. I'm not a big fan of this because some of the paint got smeared and it's a little bit of a mess, but I'm actually a really big fan of how this came out, especially the calligraphy down here. I do wish that this gold paint was a bit easier to work with because I had just gotten a new gold paint and it took so many layers for me to get this opaque like that. But otherwise, I'm really happy and I like the little watercolor on there. And yeah, I'm really happy with the final product of this. Calendar, again, I'm pretty happy with this. The paint smeared a little bit there, but I mean, that happens. I wish I had done a little bit different calligraphy on this, but I really like the black and the gold on the black. I think it's cool. My mood tracker I'm really happy with too, because I just traced my palm and then I did all the palm lines and then each little segment was a mood. And then my habit tracker, I had no idea what I wanted to do, but it was witchy themed, so I just drew like a planchette that was sort of fancy and had this little like leaf motif going on that I've had throughout the entire thing. My finance tracker, again, did not use, but it's super cute. It's a little black cat because what's more witchy than a black cat? Then my stats tracker is just the phases of the moon, and then of course, again, this little like swirly Q leaf motif going on. Yeah, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I don't really love it. This is definitely one of the more simplistic themes that I've done, and I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it didn't come out terrible, I suppose. Now we move on to March, and this is definitely my favorite cover page that I've ever done all time. This is My Chemical Romance themed. I did it for March because they're my favorite band, and my birthday's in March, so I wanted to be self-indulgent and have a My Chemical Romance theme for my birthday. So for the cover page with this, I recreated the second album cover of theirs, which it just looks so good. I was so proud of this. It took so long to get all of the little details right, but it just makes me so happy to go back and look at. To this day, I'm very proud of it. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. It was also very fun to make. The rest of this theme, however, is I'm very iffy on. My calendar page is okay. I really liked the blackout so much that I did it again. And then this is Black Parade themed, so I just kind of did We'll Carry On, which is a quote from their most popular song, Welcome to the Black Parade, and then I drew the little like skeleton mascot. His name is Pepe, and I really wish my white pen worked a little better because there's like all these lines and the numbers, but otherwise I'm pretty happy with this. Mood tracker. This one is very simple. I just drew like a little rosary on a cross because, you know, their theme is like vampires for this album. And then I wrote the lyrics to one of their songs in the background, which again took forever. This is themed after their very first album cover, which is, you know, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's very abstract kind of looking, but I didn't really know what else to do, but it's okay. Finance tracker. Again, did not use, but I really like this is their fourth and final album cover, and I really love it. Then my stats tracker is just the Black Parade, like marching band uniform, woohoo. And we move forward to April. I also really love this cover page. This house, the little lines on the roof, I remember took about as long to draw as like everything else on the map just because it was so annoying, but it's actually really fun to do with the watercolor to kind of make it look aged and then like get the little bits of color in that you will see on the map. And so if you haven't caught on, this is Percy Jackson themed. This is the map of Camp Half-Blood, and I really enjoyed this theme. This was a really fun theme to come up with and to create, and I had a great time. So I didn't really have any ideas for the calendar, so I kind of just did this like Greek border and then wrote April in a fun font, and I used a lot of gold. I really love gold, if you haven't been able to tell. My habit and mood trackers, I really love this. This Pegasus is a little fat, but we're not gonna body shame him. Otherwise, I think it looks good. And then on this side, of course, I just did my habit, and on this side, I did my mood. And I have like the symbols for some of the gods here, so I color-coded them with what mood I wanted them to represent. And I did accidentally put too many boxes that I'll probably go back and color in black eventually if I ever think about it, which I probably will not. My finance and stats page. Now, since it was Percy Jackson themed, I obviously had to include an iconic Percy Jackson quote. So if my life is going to mean anything, I have to live it myself. We love Percy, he's a king. And my stats page is just the Poseidon cabin. And I don't really love the Poseidon cabin page. It's not my favorite, but otherwise I'm not bad about it. I like all the different colors of blue and gold working together on the finance page. That makes me happy, and I am blurring out everything because I did actually use it. This is when I changed my finances to something that I would actually use, and yeah, so don't look at that, but look at everything else. Then more journal. May was super fun. I had the idea for this cover page right away. I didn't really know what theme I wanted it to correspond to, but I had the image for the cover page in my head and I just had to create it. And I do love how it came out. It's very simple compared to what I normally do, and yet it took probably one of the longer cover pages I've ever created, but I love like the sort of messy line art that I've got going on over here. I just love how it looks. The rest of this theme is okay. It was very fun to do with the watercolor because it's very watercolor and art heavy. My calendar, and I actually really like the artwork for this. It was super fun to do all the little like leaves and everything. The cabin, not so fun, but it looks cool at least, so there is that. But otherwise, I did use my gold embossing tool. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. But you like put foil down and then it's a pen that heats up and you just like write down and the foil sticks into the page. I did that instead of my gold pen because I felt like it, I guess. I don't know. I didn't feel like wanting it to smear. I don't know, but it looks really cool. And I always love when I get to use that. So woohoo, it's super shiny and it makes my brain happy. My mood tracker also makes my brain happy because it's mushrooms, and who doesn't love mushrooms? I also just really like how the background came out, And then I did use the embosser to create these little stars. I think I did it because I wanted a different metallic color that wasn't like exactly the gold that I had, but I didn't have a pen for it. So I just used one of my foils for the embosser. I'm pretty sure that's why I did it, but either way, it looks good. Don't really love my habit tracker. It's more mushrooms. It's the kind that like grow on the side of the tree, and it doesn't look great, but it did take forever, but it's not my favorite page. My finances page, bucket of lavender, basket of lavender. Again, blurring out all of this. At this point, I am still kind of figuring out how I want my setup to work, but for the most part, I've got it figured out. And my stats page, I of course love. It's all these little rocks with moss on it, and I drew a little froggy because you can't have like a foresty cottagecore theme without frogs. So this entire theme ended up being a lot more like blue-green than the cover page did, but that's okay because I think it came out pretty good overall, and it was fun to do. I like the watercolor look. Skipping over the journal. June. June is one of my favorite months. It's very simplistic. The ink kind of smeared a little bit here, but that's okay. It is, as you can tell, Heartstopper themed, and it was so fun to make. I had a really great time doing these little like rim lights with the pink and just like creating these spreads because Heartstopper is incredible and I love it, and this whole theme just makes me happy. I'm so proud of how it came out. So my calendar is the blue ink that Nick spills on his hands when they first meet, or around the time that they first meet, and as you can tell, this was a very busy month, so woohoo. My mood tracker is their different shoes. So Nick always wears the sports shoes, and then Charlie always wears the Converse. And then my habit tracker is so good. It's Nelly, and it's so cute, and I love it. And this whole spread just, it makes my heart happy. It's so cute and fun. My finance tracker, I drew Nick and Charlie, and then Charlie's drum kit on the stats, and then the like segments or a percussion staff. We're moving on now to July, and here is another map. This is a theme inspired by my favorite TV show of all time, Merlin. The map is, of course, a map of Camelot and the surrounding areas. It was very hard to find a map to use as a reference for this, and these trees took forever to draw. Like, so many little circles. I don't even know how many, probably at least 1,000, but so many little circles, and it was so annoying. But otherwise, it wasn't like too bad of a map, and I had a good time again trying to make it look aged. This little like motif, or not motif, but like stamp, I don't know what we would call it, but that took a while, but it looks cool, so. Then the rest of this, I had a hard time trying to make it like Merlin themed, so I just kind of ended up making it more of a medieval theme, but I mean, it looks pretty cool overall. This was really fun to do. It took a while, but it was really fun to do. And my mood tracker is a bunch of potions, and my habit tracker is the sword and the stone, and I did use the one from Merlin because that was the whole inspiration for the thing, and I think it came out pretty good, actually. I really like how it looks. Finance tracker did the same thing from the calendar, and then a land of myth and a time of magic, because that's like the tagline of Merlin. Then my stats page is just the Pendragon family crest, and then my little boxes for my monthly statistics. Now, we are on to August. I have some opinions about this theme. I don't love it, and I did at the time. But like, and I'm definitely proud of like some of the artwork that came out of it. It's flowers inspired by the Greek gods themed, which is in and of itself a task. But this is Asphodel to represent Hades, hence the skull. And then August, these are irises to represent the rainbow goddess Iris. And I don't love this calendar, but the irises do look cool at least. Habit tracker, this represents, I think, Persephone. I honestly don't remember what I did. It's okay. It's very vibrant. This is Hyacinth for Apollo because the love story, obviously. And then the lyre is the little mood labels. Whatever. This is Zeus. It's a peony, I think. And then this is Aphrodite. It's a red poppy. I don't love this spread. I mean, I'm not like mad about the artwork in it or anything. I don't love it. It's not my favorite, and I don't know why I thought it was a good idea, but I did it and it's done. And that's gonna finish up this journal. So now we're gonna move on to this journal, and I did, as you might be able to notice, I did switch brands for this. So before I was using Archer and Olive. This is the Notebook Therapy brand of journal. Their sizing works differently, so I use the A5 and the Archer and Olive, and this is the equivalent of that. But I don't remember what it's called. It might still be A5 and it's just not the default size, but their default size is much smaller than the A5 size. So if you are going to get a notebook therapy journal, which I do highly recommend, it's a very lovely journal. It's got like the gilded pages and fun little designs. There's a lot more cover options than Archer and Olive too, and it is a little bit cheaper. Not a whole lot, but a little bit cheaper. Just make sure you're getting the right size and double check that, because if you use the A5 like I think most people who bullet journal do, you'll have to double check your sizing on that, because I don't think it's the standard for them. But otherwise, really love it. And we're moving on. This journal belongs to me. Hi. Hello. September! I was in the midst of a Mortal Instruments read through at this point, and I had no theme ideas, and so this became my theme. I actually kind of really like this cover page still. I like the gold. I do wish it was a little bit more opaque, but whatever. I'm not gonna be too picky. The angel wings were kind of super fun to do, actually. I had a really good time shading them, and I figured out the tactic over here better than over here, as you can kind of tell, but still not too mad about it. I think it's super cool. Calendar, kind of boring. Not a huge fan of it. I did the Mortal Sword, I think, and then the Descent into Hell is easy, which is the whole like Mortal Instruments quote thing. Whatever. Lots of gold going on. This is the Mortal Cup. I kind of actually really like this page. I like the grayscale mood tracker. I think it's super cool. And I like the gold outline of the cup. The cup itself is whatever. Habit tracker, very boring. It's just a bunch of runes that I didn't know what to do with, so I put them on this page. Finances. I actually kind of like this page. I like how I set up the quote, alternating with the boxes, whatever. I had no ideas, so, but I'm not mad about it. I really like it. If I cannot reach heaven, I will raise hell. Super cute. Stats page, again, had no ideas, so I just drew a random rune. Very boring, very basic, but not the worst theme ever. My October theme, this one was really fun to do. I really actually loved this theme a lot. This was the most fun that I've had creating a bullet journal spread in so long. The cover page does not look anything like the rest of it. You'll see that in a minute, but I'm still so proud of it. So this is Gravity Falls themed, so of course I tried to do like the, cover of Gravity Falls or whatever. And then the quote over here is from Bill Cipher, because that's a little teaser for the rest of the theme. But remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Bye, gold. Bye! It's so fun. I love Gravity Falls. It's one of the only cartoons that I actually watch. Basically, yes, I themed the rest of October around the journal that sort of guides the entire show, so it looks nothing like this, but I still love it, and I had a lot of fun coming up with the designs for it. So here is my calendar page. Aw, blew out my candle again. That's so sad. Anyway, here's my calendar page, and of course I've got sort of all kinds of fun little doodles going on over here. This is probably the one that's most loyal to the actual book itself. The rest of it I sort of just took designs kind of inspired by this and ran with it. But these pretty much came directly from pages in the book. So this one, and then this one, and then of course the October I took the font from it. And then red is sort of the accent color for this because duh. And then I've got all kinds of fun little designs here. Mood tracker I also really love because it took so long to get all these little lines, but it looks so good and it makes me so happy. And of course it's Bill Cipher, had to include him. And then I didn't actually fill in all of them because I didn't actually use all of them because, oh well, whatever. But it looks super fun. And then I've got fake writing here and My habit, this is also inspired by a page directly from the journal. It's like a little ghost, and then I took the little paragraph that was written. This page is probably the most simplistic compared to the rest of it because there wasn't a lot going on that page, but whatever, it's cute and I love it, so I don't care that much. And then of course we go back to the hodgepodge sort of like paranoid scribbles and doodles and what have you. So not actually manly is a reference to an episode of with Dipper, and then I've got tiny little Bill up here. This one's just really fun to look back on, and do not sleep with the open windows, blah blah blah, fun little tic-tac-toe game. It's so fun and it just makes me so happy to go back and look, and I just love this theme so much. I had a great time creating it. It's so good. It's so good. I love this theme. This was a really fun month for me. We flip over now to November. This was also a really fun month for me. I remember sitting on my bed sketching this in one day and my cat repeatedly trying to steal my pencil. But I chose to theme this month after New York because, of course, I was taking my trip to New York in this month for the Macy's parade, which I do have a vlog up you can go watch if you're curious. But somewhere between living and dreaming, there's New York. I really like how this font came out. And then this, I did my little, like, I forget what it's called, chromatic aberration type drawing. And then I just, of course, it's New York skyline. The shading on this was really fun to try and get all the buildings to, like, look the proper depth, I guess. It was super fun though, and I really enjoyed it. This calendar is probably one of my favorite calendars that I've done. It just looks super cool. I like the font, and then New York City over here, and another like drawing of the skyline, but this one's like 2D instead of 3D, and it's in gold, and this one just came out really good, and I really love it. Mood tracker. This made me happy. So this is sort of the top of the Chrysler building, and it actually made me really happy because the windows on the top of the Chrysler building, there's actually the exact number of them that I needed for the month, so I didn't even have to change it to fit my needs. There was literally already 30 windows, so woohoo, yay, exact number of things. It was very satisfying, although I'm not like a huge fan of the page itself, but otherwise, super cool. Habit tracker is, of course, the Empire State Building. Don't love how the colors came out. Wish I had done a bit different colors for it, but otherwise it looks okay. Finance tracker. This took ages. It's an Art Deco elevator somewhere in New York City. Don't know where. Couldn't tell you, but it looks cool. Took forever. Very annoying, but looks good, so whatever. Stats page. Again, just a random building in New York City that I thought would look kind of cool. Kind of simple, not my favorite, but oh well. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with this month. Lots of gold again, which makes me happy. It's so shiny. Then we flip over now to December, another month, which I of course did not have a theme in mind for. So going off of my sort of like vibes, I guess, I did this one based off of the acid wave sort of aesthetic, and I just looked up a bunch of inspiration. So I do kind of like the cover page. It's kind of cool. I like how it's not centered, which is very annoying, but whatever. I like how it kind of fades into the background. This was supposed to have like a white outline to make it look neon, but of course my white pen is dying and I don't have one that looks good, so I just kind of left it, whatever. And then I wish the quote showed up. I thought the silver marker that I have was a little more vibrant than this, but oh well, I kind of like the quote. It says, "We exist in moments and nothing more." And this sort of like artwork was really fun to do, but otherwise I'm kind of iffy on the rest of this. I didn't even do a font, and the washi tape is kind of peeling up here. Don't love this, but it was kind of fun to just sort of put lines everywhere. I do like this page, even if it did take forever, but it worked better than I thought. And then I switched over from using the silver to this like bronzy color because it shows up a little better. This page is iffy. I like the finance page, didn't use it again. Stats page is kind of the same as the cover page, but a little more boring. And I forgot to put the blue, otherwise, because it was supposed to have this chromatic aberration look to it as well, and it did not. But that brings us to 2023. So, without anything else to go over, I do hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to like the video because it's easy, comment because it makes me smile, subscribe for more content just like this. I will have my December reading wrap up next for you guys. and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye!